Want to get started?
Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do it.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, alright, cool.
So, hey Chris, have you ever watched our show?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched our show on weed?
Yeah. It's the only way I can watch it.
So welcome to Doors of 7, Kitchen of 9,
The-
420 special.
Do you have a hard time watching it ever?
No.
You never
No, your man loves watching himself.
You don't.
know?
No.
So do I.
No, I-
So do I. I rewatch my
That-
concerts and shit online. When
No,
they
I
first
had-
come out, I watch them 10 times.
I think that last mental health episode where it was like getting a little emotional, like that was a little hard to watch, kind of. Watching me choke in the fucking rap battle was hard to watch.
Yeah, but you
Otherwise-
redeemed yourself, which is awesome.
But otherwise, no. And then, special fuck you to Dave for not liking Ween.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this is a 420 special?
420.
What do you want to talk about today?
Smoking weed.
Alright, let's fucking do it. So when's the first time you started smoking weed?
Okay. So when I got arrested and I was on probation for probably 2 years pissing clean, like I've said before, and I was over at my buddy's house, and my other friend, he smoked 3 times in his whole life, and 2 of those times tripped and had a terrible experience, took his shirt off, never smoked again. He got weed and was so excited to get me high for the first time that I remember smoking it out of a pop bottle my buddy who introduced me to weed was dating my friend whose brother is who I was chilling with. So the dude who introduced me, I remember him saying, just breathe out. And again, this kid 3 times. He was like, just take. Well, dude, I was very scared of drugs, and obviously there was a reason. I feel like it's because I knew that I get.
You were scared of drugs before you fell in love with drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's because of, first of all, the DARE program and all that shit was put. Here's a funny story. When I was in 4th grade, and again, I was a nuisance in school. And I didn't have many friends, and I was picked on and shit all the time, but I was still an asshole all the time, trying to get a rise out of shit. And we had to write these fucking things about the DARE program. We had to write, why drugs are bad, pretty much, in simple terms. And I wrote this thing, and they picked me, and I read it in front of, 10 different schools, and everybody's parents came.
Wait, were the schools there, or did you have to go? They take you to different schools to read it?
No, it was a whole day, and they bring in different, it was 3 huge gymnasium setups, but other schools were coming in for it because it was for it was throughout the Catholic school system. So each school only had 300 kids anyway, so it's not like you were. But everyone came in, and I actually
all the future drug addicts from fucking Catholic school.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them there. A lot of people having kids right out of middle school, 9th, 10th grade. People dying, ODing, fucking. But the first time I smoked, it was like heaven to me. It was the first time I was able.
Just like heaven.
It was the first time I was able to harness my fucking issues in my head while trying to figure them out, but at the same time not giving a fuck about them.
Now, did you get high the first time you got high?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were fucking hooked?
Then I remember the same kid, he would go and work out at fucking 9 o'clock at night to not have all those people there. So they would go to this 24-hour gym and go 9 at night. And they brought me and my friend Melissa, and we smoked 2 or 3 blunts. So this is my first time smoking a blunt. And then it turned into a 4-time-a-week thing after that one day. Because I remember just chilling in the parking lot with her for 2 hours while they worked out and getting absolutely fucking stoned. The second time I got high, which was there at the gym, we drove back. The dude was driving back, and we went underneath on Amherst Street or Elmwood by the porn store over there. Mm-hmm. There's a viaduct, and he was going under the viaduct, and there's train tracks up top. And while I was stoned for the second time in my life, really high, really annoyingly high, because I used to get extremely annoying when I first smoked. Fucking going nuts, making up songs, just singing, fucking wilding out for years. It would be for the first year I didn't smoke at work or anything like that. And I was 17. I just would every night I'd be smoking with my buddies.
Were you working at the pretzel shop or the cake shop, whatever?
No. I was working at Budway's in the deli.
And, oh yeah, so you're not gonna get the munchies and want to eat like a handful of fucking sliced
No, but I was
nothing.
young. I didn't really know how to control it. Like for me, when I first started smoking, any drugs I've done for the first time has been an eye-opening experience that then almost immediately led to me hating it, whether I continue to do it or not. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way it goes.
Mr.
What about
Booster, do you got a ashtray?
Yeah.
What about you? First time?
Yeah. So how old were you the first time?
7. Probably going to turn 18. I started smoking a little later than normal.
So you're on the edge of 17?
Yeah, like Stevie Nicks.
Okay, so the first time...
Love that song, by the way.
I grew up, like, my family always fucking smoked pot. My parents, since the day I was born, been around weed.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Smoking joints. Like, they used to drive with me, my brother and sister in the car, just fucking clam baking us joints. Could you grab that, please?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So, I used to drive around fucking smoking hash. They'd take, like, my books, stick a pin in it and a cup, and just fucking chunks of hash, and just drive around hitting hash. So I'd always been around weed, but I was kind of, like, anti-weed. And I remember when I first moved to Newfane, it was, like, in the middle of 10th grade. My very first day there, like, I sat at this table with some senior kids, like, oh, come on over and sit. New kid. And then they're, like, asking me questions, like, do you drink? Like, yeah. I can knock some alcohol back. Do you smoke? No.
Some alcohol. I've been known to have an alcoholic beverage.
I had a little
underage.
I had a little bit of a drinking problem as a child, but do you smoke weed? No. And then they're like, well, you just moved to Newfane, so we give it like 3 months. So then I think it was maybe about the spring. The kid that lived down the street from me was about a year or two younger. Came over with this shoebox full of fucking just some dirty ass mersh.
That's what I got introduced on.
Yeah, because that's how. Yeah. We weren't blessed like the kids are nowadays with all this good ass weed. Like you had to fucking put in the work with the sticks and stems and the fucking trying to find it and the whole.
So
bullshit.
what year? I would say mine was like 2006-ish.
This was about 1995, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So neighbor kid comes over. He's got a shoebox full of mersh. Like, yo, do you want to smoke? Like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. But we didn't have like a pipe. We weren't ingenious like our fucking producer friend here who was smoking out of apples and shit. Didn't think of that. So I'm like, you know what? We live not too far from a grocery store. So like, let's go to the grocery store. Let's get a pack of gum. And then the little paper that the foil piece of gum comes in, maybe we could use that as a rolling paper.
That's not a terrible idea.
No, it's not.
But didn't know that you had to break the weed up. So I'm like, got this shoebox full of weed and just like weed chunks and fucking rolling it up.
Like
and...
not breaking it up at all? Maybe
yeah,
like
no.
Because it's not in a bud form anyways, right? It's just fucking little
chunks.
pieces and chunks because it's merch, yeah.
Yeah, so we get a nice fat little fucking chonger going, got it to stick. Like, it does work pretty surprisingly well. And we sat there and smoked, and big buds are falling out as a cherry and shit. And we rolled another one, and then we're just like, are you fucking high? I'm like, I don't know. But my uncle lived like 2 miles away from me, and I used to go golfing with him all the time. He'd pick me up, and him and his buddies, and they'd just get shit-faced. And like I said, my whole family's been stoners. So I'm like, I'm gonna ride my bike to my uncle's tomorrow because, every time I go golfing with him and his buddies got all these joints rolled up and they always fuck with me, like pretending they're pass it to me and then pass it back. So I'm like, I'm just gonna show up and be like, yo, I'm on a bike ride. So show up and he's getting out of work and he's got this fucking huge ass sound system that him and his friends just jam fucking Metallica out of until they get too many beers in them, and then it was that fucking Four Non-Blonde song, and they just get drunk and sing it. So like.
All while playing like NHL and Genesis.
Yeah. So like I hate the song, but my uncle's passed away, so like it kind of reminds me of it, but I still fucking hate the song. So I show up just like, hey, what's up? I'm just on a bike ride. Figured I'd stop in and say hi because I know they're gonna fucking fire up a joint at some point.
Right.
So within like 5 minutes, they're firing up a joint. So I kind of get up in the circle a little bit and we're just talking. I don't think Four Non-Blonde song
James
came on
yet. James just inserts himself right into his uncle's circle. Like,
so,
hey, I want to kill your buzz. I'm right here.
No, so they're going. Yeah, so they're going and like, and I remember his buddy was over. They had just gotten out of work or whatever, and he's going to pat. And like I'm standing between him and my uncle, and he's going to pass it, and then I just like look. I'm like, "What? You're not going to pass it to me?" And then they're like, have this look of like shock, the same as the shock of the Canadians did when I was like, "You're not going to like. We need to hit this blunt." And I just like started hitting this weed, and they're just like looking at me like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking stoner now. I smoke."
I'm a stoner now.
So
Had there been a long patch of not smoking that you did in between that? Then
I know
I'm asking the same
Bob's
question.
gonna run me over the coals here soon over that question. So early on, like I didn't smoke as much, but I think by like my senior year I've probably smoked just about every day except for that like 2-week period where I was fucked up off them edibles and I didn't smoke.
Okay.
But anyways, back to my uncle's story. Like they're so fucking dumbfounded. Like what? You're smoking? I'm like, yeah, I'm a stoner now. So they're fucking rolling more joints, and I ended up smoking like 4 or 5 joints. Had a couple fucking Jenny Cream ales. Yeah, and then like
I know. It's making my
that's
stomach
I don't know why
burn.
they were drinking shitty beer, but yeah, it sucked. But I was so fucking high, and then I had to ride my bike home, and it was fucking dark, and everything was just like, you know that feeling you get when you do nitrous, and you're just like wah wah wah. And I was like trying to ride the bike, and then I had to like go through a trail to get to my house, and it's fucking dark.
I have a good
and,
high
like,
bike story too. Go ahead.
and like I'm hearing fucking wolves and all kinds of creatures in the fucking night, and I was fucking stoned as fuck. But I was like, yeah, I'm hooked.
One time
Weed
I
is
was
fucking
driving
great.
home at 3 in the morning from my buddies in Black Rock. I was in my parents in Kenmore. I was probably 18. And I'm driving my bike, and I'm driving in Kenmore. I have my headphones on. Everything's cool. I'm riding on the sidewalk. All of a sudden, boom, I hit a fucking light pole going probably, I don't know, 10, 15 miles per hour. And just completely, I didn't fall over. It was just like one of those like,
You crumpled up onto it?
shocks almost. It was like a cartoon. It was just like boom, and I'm like, oh, fucking cars have had to see me. But it was like 3 in the morning. But
And
it
they're
was
just,
on
yeah, they're,
Delaware
seeing, they're
Avenue.
just watching and laughing at you like,
Oh.
oh, God, look at that kid.
When shit like that happens to me, like one time I was with my dad at Ted Nugent at our park, and I was walking to go get his beers. This is probably 10 years ago. I was walking to get his beers, and I just totally tripped and ate it right on the fucking stones and shit, right in between the people who paid for front of the line and then the general admission.
Yeah.
There is a straight line in between that go down like these stairs, and it's like barricade, and here's the room I have. And I'm walking, and I tripped over my feet.
Were you
And
drunk?
I mean, dude, like I remember.
Did people clown you?
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I just completely, in those situations, I just mumble something out loud, and I just straight fucking tunnel vision to where I have to go. Like, but I'll never forget, there's blood just gushing down my leg, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even want to tell my dad. I got 2 beers, half of mine is spilled. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
You know what you could have did to save face? You should have just jumped up and said, hey guys, I'm just doing my Dave Ward learning how to walk impression.
The worst part was...
Gotcha.
The worst part was...
That was for you, Dave.
Was when... Because I was going to get the beer when I fell. So the worst part was coming back through that same area with the beers.
And then they're just looking at you, probably thinking you already had too many
Dude, you
beers.
should have put your hands up like a victory run. Look,
I
did
probably did. Anytime I fell on stage, that's what I fell on stage, and now I learned how not to. Dave's like, "How the fuck don't you fall?" I'm like, "You didn't know me then in the past because I was busting my ass." And then of course the big fall was right into Anvil's shit.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I still have my moments, but one thing I wanted to talk about was shows and smoking weed.
Like playing shows or going to shows? Or
Both. What do you want to start with?
Playing shows? Okay, so obviously it's no surprise how much weed we fucking smoked.
There's almost
over the
not
years.
even stories in the amount of weed that we smoke at shows. Like, it's just sort of a part of it now.
No, we
That
may,
we play,
we may
you
have
know,
touched
yeah.
upon this months ago, but that was months ago. So we used to have a friend that was he was a friend, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it.
A
The
friend and
night-
acquaintance we would speak with.
yeah, and okay, so
Wait, we hung out with more than 3 times a week.
before I even get into that, so one day we're getting ready to go to a Buzzhound show, right? And this friend, like his parents had passed away, inherited some money that he ended up blowing on drugs and hookers.
This is who we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had this big bag of weed. Buzzhound's ready to go do a fucking show, and we're sitting in this very spot where we're at right now filming this shit. So our producer's like, you know what? We should roll a bunch of joints to get ready for the fucking show. So he cause dude has this huge fucking bag of weed. So like whatever.
And all the weed, the community weed was being taken out of this guy's bag.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, it was.
He had a half a pound.
He had like a half a pound.
All right.
So
well,
and
he was
down
annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
So the weed is why he was there.
So our producer rolls a bunch of joints. So what was it, like 4 of them maybe?
3.
Well,
they
4,
were
but
big bombers.
But another one that we were smoking out on the porch.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one where you
so
wanted to smoke.
He rolls up like,
Three
you
more to
know,
bring with.
fat fucking joints, because obviously dude's got a half pound, he's rolling these joints, so we're making them as fat as the paper
Dude, they're
allow
like
us.
like diameter of my thumb and shit. Like, they were out of control.
So, before this little table was here, there was like a different coffee table, and the joints and the weed, they're all sitting on there. We go out to the back, we're like loading some gear up in the cars, like kind of getting ready, because we don't have to be there quite yet. Smoke the other joint, and then get our shit loaded up. And then we're coming back down, like, to get the joints, to go to the show. But there's no fucking joints on the table. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, how did these joints just fucking disappear? And, like, all of us are looking everywhere.
High and low. Like,
yeah, like,
they fall, they roll,
like wasn't
something.
even Sarah looking too?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then Hader Johnson, who was here with us, he's looking, and we're kind of thinking, like, did dude, like, come down here and fucking take these joints and, like, just pocket them just so we didn't have them, just to be a dick? Because
the guy who it was coming out of, or the other guy? Okay.
Because this is not out of the realm of possibilities. This person was a weird individual and would do some weird shit. So that possibility was not.
So you rolled 4 joints. 3 of them are saved at this point, and one had already been smoked outside by your crew.
Yeah, we were out there smoking while we were getting everything ready.
Okay, got it.
So we're like thinking, then we're like, did fucking dude take the joints back? Like, how the fuck did they disappear? Like, we all went out and smoked and loaded shit up, came back down, they're gone. It makes no fucking sense. So we're just like, have no fucking clue. We're searching everywhere. What did we end up doing? Did we roll more joints? Did we fucking just...
Well, yeah,
before,
after we
I'm gonna
found
say,
out,
when we figured it out?
After we figured it out.
So, and how exactly did we figure it out? Did we look down and...
Well,
so
we figured it out when I came downstairs, and my dog that we had at the time looks at me with a big dumb grin on his face.
Did he
and then
fucking
proceeds
fall
to over like a fucking tree?
And then was just like, yeah,
on his back, paws up, smiling. Yeah, he fucking pounded all 3 joints and we went outside to smoke it.
So you guys are probably gone. He probably ate them right away.
Yeah.
The dog's name was Odie.
Odie?
Yeah, Odie.
Oh
Reed learns a new story about his
he
dog.
was just laying right there on the floor, upside down like this, just fucking cheesing the biggest grin.
How old was he at this point?
Like a year and a half, maybe.
Okay, so he was all right to handle it.
Yeah.
Like, we had to spend probably at least 40 minutes, like, freaking out. Like, how the fuck did joints disappear? Like, we're looking everywhere, tearing the cushions up, looking behind shit.
The dog just
falls
over. Yeah, it's
like,
instant. That's like, okay, the dog ate him. Like,
we were all pissed.
No more looking.
Figured it out.
We were all pissed. Like, did dude fucking take the joints back? So anyway, same fucking dude. Like, he used to come over and like hang out with Buzzhound when we were jamming and shit, but he didn't really bring much to the table. To the point where, like, Charlie made him his own fucking his own monitor or earphones so he could listen to him, but it was a broken pair of headphones with a cord that didn't plug into anything, and he wrote Naven's, because as we call him, Naven's fucking monitors, and we'd always make sure, like, Naven had his monitors. But he ends up forming this fucking...
Don't give me that look!
You motherfucker! What is it, like, episode 16? This has happened, what, 4 times now?
It's 420. It's 420 day, man. Listen.
So your phone has to.
But it's not even 420.
Hey, Mark commented on the picture you posted.
I know, I saw that.
Did you see that?
So this fucking dude, he gets like this band together. They call themselves The Root, right?
Yeah.
Which is fucking just whatever.
The Root?
Yeah.
Like the Roots without an S?
The Root. Yeah, but it's The Root.
Oh, R-O-U-T.
And the dude he's jamming with is just like a
time.
total fucking douche. Like, somebody you'd expect this person probably, like... But he was pretty decent at this Naven individual. He was a pretty decent bass player.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. And he got in the Sublime, and he was in the Fish and some other weird hippie shit too, but like he understood at least like the bass part of it. He was doing all right with it. So we ended up playing a show with these dudes, and it was at fucking Merlin's. I know we talked a little bit about it months ago, but so we go wherever we go, we're just fucking smoking. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, we had been playing there a few times, so we would just smoke right... Like, you'd walk upstairs, and, like, they had a little area where the bands play. We would just go up there and fucking smoke. Like, we knew the promoter a little bit. He was cool with us. Like, he knew Dave's buddy when they tried to come in with the fake IDs, still let him in, whatever. But we're up smoking, and then someone from his band started complaining about it. And, like, went down and fucking told, like, the owner, the bartender.
Where were you guys smoking? In Merlin's?
Yeah, upstairs. Like, you'd go into Merlin's, there's a little bar, you'd walk up some stairs, and then you'd fucking go to the back. Yeah, but literally, like, this kid was buying weed off of this dude, and this dude got all fucking pissy about it and went out, like, we were smoking. Which my theory is he was too pussy to just light up a joint and smoke in there like we were. So he was mad. And decided he, like, wanted to go down and tell on us. And I don't even remember how that resolved, but I think the guy did come up and, like, look and smelled some shit. And do you remember anything about that?
The owner did, yeah. And it was like, "We shut that down, we're gonna stop that, we're gonna shut it down, blah, blah, blah." And it was just like, yeah, fuck off.
Me and Bob have had a couple issues with business owners or venue owners with us smoking weed.
Yeah.
I remember walking into Mohawk.
Stamps they were not happy with, and I truly believe ruins our relationship. Our picture was shortly after taking off that bar wall.
No, it's because Steve Kelly covered it up with a Red House picture.
Whatever.
No, that's exactly what happened.
Well, now, Steve, you're not coming on the show, Steve, so... No, I can't wait to have Steve on, actually. I'm looking
Steve soon.
Yeah,
anyways,
soon. But we got some stories we got to figure out when he's on here, though. Like, we're telling everything.
What happened at Stamps?
Stories.
What happened at Stamps? Now, you do realize, like, the producer has this whole thing, like, if there's amps or something by him, he's going to have his whole weed shit and whatever set up
yeah,
there.
I think...
And that's happened, I think, just about everywhere we've played.
I learned that from Sublime, too, by the way. That's how awesome it's been.
Yeah.
Reaching it goes. Because Bradley, while recording the self-titled album, was so addicted to dope, like he would go and hide behind his half stack and shoot dope in the recording session.
Oh shit!
I was like, well, if you can do that, I can smoke weed behind the amp. That's like nothing.
Yeah. I remember that time we played X Wheels, like he did it there, like. Yeah.
I just remember the bartender not being too happy because we were smoking
in that bathroom backstage.
But I think we did our due part by donating all that stage shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's their place. They make the rules.
It's theirs, absolutely. Yeah. But
so another good example is, so like we used to record in the garage or our barn that we used to jam in. Total haggard setup. I'd bring my fucking computer. I'd be taping these microphones to fucking stools and bottles of chlorine and shit for the pool. We'd make our little recordings, and his buddy Jeff was in the music and recording. And
your buddy?
He lives down in Jamestown, had a studio going, and it's like, hey, why don't you guys come down and fucking record some weekend? So we're like, fuck yeah, we're gonna record. But now Jeff is like a good dude, like good morals, like Christian. When you say, isn't he Christian?
He was, he is.
Like a good dude, and like here we are, just kind of like he's not into the same kind of like we're friends with him and shit, but
no, he's I got friends like that. They don't relate.
Like, he wouldn't come down here now and we just started fucking dogging him out like we would dog each other out. Like, we'd have that kind of respect. Like,
yeah, you gotta build that up with, like, that builds up from close friends fucking up.
He wouldn't. I mean, I grew up with Jeff, so I'd dog him.
Yeah. But, we wouldn't...
You dog everybody.
But you know what I'm saying. Like, we wouldn't just, like, start going at the throat or anything. So, we're trying to be respectful, and we go down and record our Nightmare on Elm Street album. And, we were trying to be super low-key about, like, the partying we were doing. So we would take turns, like, and he had a nice little pool room and shit that we were saying, pool tables, like, and you show Buzzhound a pool table or a foosball table, it's all the fuck over. Like, no music's actually going to be getting done. It's just going to be like, all right,
pool, dude. Like,
let's go get some more beers. And
are you good? Are you guys good at pool?
I'm not. I've been playing it for a long time, but...
I took it in college. That was, like, one of my gym classes I took.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
A gym class was pool. Well, maybe if that was a fucking option for me, maybe I'd be good at it.
Yeah.
Thanks, St. Paul's.
And in order to get us to come to class, he would start on time. He would start each class with a trick shot, which I actually like pulled off at bars because we used to go drinking every night.
Shit.
So I'd go like put $1 on a drink and play for free.
Yeah.
You know, for the rest of the night. And the dude wanted to fucking like legit like shoot me because I fucking or stab me or something. He was fucking angry.
But I know
I hit this
you.
trick shot.
Were you telling people that you fucking sucked and that this is
No,
my
no,
third
wasn't
game
wrong.
of pool, and next thing you know, you're
No,
pulling
I
out
wasn't
this
doing
fucking. See, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I
No,
just
then
had
he
to
would-
bring
he
up
would- no, he
pool
would end
because
up
I'm
getting stabbed.
so bad at it that it's embarrassing.
I know. Maybe one of these
There.
days after recording, we'll just have to go to Bill's and.
Don't you have
Get
a
in
pool
the-
table in your basement?
No, Bill does.
Okay, maybe
That's
we should
where
go
a
to.
lot
Yeah,
of
we should
a lot
go
of
to-
games of pool have been played there.
I want to learn how to play pool and then just fucking just take all my.
Do you
friends'
remember
fucking money 'cause
owning
they know how much
50% of a?
suck.
Do you remember owning 50% of a cat
Yeah.
in a fucking pool game over
I
there?
won half his cat. Me and Mike Flynn.
Yeah, it was a stray.
Did you
cat.
ever use half of this cat?
It was a stray cat that had showed up, but there was some pretty intense pool games going on, and that cat ended up being
We
like
won
part of the
everything else.
prize.
Which half did you win?
I don't know. It was just more for like negotiation purposes.
It was more of like a ceremonial thing, like
It's for leverage.
I own this. I own 50% of this cat.
Wow, people
Yeah,
are
but-
betting half of their animals.
A lot of 40s, a lot of.
Which also, since it's a 420 episode, I know we're a little laid back. The temperature has been lowered from our last couple weeks here. Fucking,
Yeah, we don't have to.
really getting out of control. So it's a nice little vibe we got.
Out of control, he says.
When
Really
we were-
getting out of control.
So after become a stoner, whatever, start hanging out with this kid too. And he used to drive around this car with this purple bong under the front seat of his car. And on the way to school every morning would stop at McDonald's drive-thru and get ice water. And then we would I'd meet up with him in the parking lot before school. We'd smoke.
What's the deal
whatever.
with the purple bong? I gotta. What
It was just
It was just the purple matrix bong.
was
like
it next to your
plastic
purple dildo underneath your car seat?
Maybe.
What the? That was where did that even come from?
I don't know.
that.
Me trying to make up for the shit Bob gives me on a weekly basis,
But, I mean,
and
that
then it
wasn't-
always falls flat. But you know,
You could
what?
have came with something better, like a plug or something, not just a dildo.
I mean, because really, you could use the bong for that purpose. Really. That would
Are
probably
you
be
shoving
there.
bongs up your asshole? Because there's a problem.
I like how you smiled
No,
when
no.
you thought that might be an option or a possibility.
Because now I'm picturing Bob with a fucking purple fucking bong trying to shove it up his ass. I'd probably
That would
watch
bring a
it.
smile to
Yeah.
everybody's face, I
I'd
guess.
watch that. Like that.
Me and Reed had this look. We were like,
Go back to the what was the
I know.
Yeah, you're just digging that hole.
You're digging the hole. I'm just saying if I watch it or not.
I'm cringing as much as you are. This is not what.
Yeah, we'll probably
So-
cut this.
Oh no, we're not.
Yeah. So we have this.
I like the awkwardness.
Purple bong under the seat.
We have this purple bong under the seat. He's driving to McDonald's, getting ice water. We're meeting up before class, getting fucking super ripped. One day, towards the end of the school year, I'm out there fucking ripping a bong with him, and directly parked in front of us is the car full of the kids that I sat with on my first fucking day of class or at lunch. That asked me if I was smoked and said we give it 3 months. I look up and they're fucking smoking a bong. We're smoking a bong, and they're just all fucking going nuts, laughing because they called it. It was probably 3 months fucking later.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
So that
people know. Like everyone always said, I was gonna be a fucking pothead. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was against fucking drugs for a long time, and I did drugs.
You probably weren't. You're just told that you should be.
yeah.
Oh well.
It was some of that fucking.
Yeah, but in that same thing, because you got to understand, my brother Tim was doing drugs before I was. I mean, he definitely smoking weed, drinking fucking coke, Loratat, or pain pills, whatever. Before I started doing anything, and I hated it. I thought because of what I was taught, I thought he was gonna die.
So you used to would you cry and sit there and yell at him and be like,
No, I
"Why
definitely.
are you
I've
doing
told
this
my
to
parents
yourself?"
and shit like that. Yeah, I didn't. Again, I didn't have much of a fucking. And again, it was probably my fault for being out of control too. But I didn't have much of an individual thing besides what I listened to and the movies I liked and the music I wrote. I really wasn't able to do my own shit that way and sort of learn. My brother was. my brother was let out and was able to go and do shit and stuff, and he's sort of the one that also introduced me. Like I started getting interested in weed and drugs because of him, which is weird because he's my younger brother.
Did your
Normally
musical
doesn't work that
choice
way.
or taste change a little bit after you started smoking weed? Was there anything like flew on your radar? Like all of a sudden, like you're down with Cottonmouth Kings, you're down for the crowd.
Yes. Well, that's not necessarily true. No, I can't think of one band that I'm heavily into or ever has heavily been into that was influenced by the drugs I was taking. Sublime, maybe, because I got into them later than anyone else. But I was listening to street punk, like real street punk, like The Virus and Global Threat and stuff, just as much as I loved the other bands that I grew up loving when I was younger, before all the shit. No, I really don't think.
What's your favorite weed smoking song about smoking weed? Any genre.
Oh, man. Title-wise, any Cannabis Corpse song. Do we know who Cannabis Corpse is?
Yeah, it's the dude from Municipal Waste.
Yeah, and a couple other guys from other bands. But all the titles of the record and the songs are all based off Cannibal Corpse songs, but they're about smoking weed. And the songs aren't like covers of their songs, so it's like different actual songs, but all the titles are like I Come Blood is I Come Bud. But Cannabis Corpse is straight up death metal, and it's really fucking cool. But no, I would say Smoke Two Joints is like my go-to weed song. But honestly, while I embrace the culture, I don't necessarily embrace the flaunting of the culture, and I never have. 420 parties and get-togethers were cool when I was fucking 17, 18, 19 when I first started smoking. I just don't. I smoke weed every day of my life. I don't.
Just like Nate Dogg says, smoke weed every day.
Yeah, well, sure. But yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but sure.
I've never embraced weed emblems or pot shirts. People buy them for me. Like my parents, who are dead set against me smoking, not so much anymore. But they buy me shirts when they're out and shit. You know, they say like little funny fucking weed things and shit, and I just fold them up, put them in a tote, and that's it.
So you have like a whole collection of weed shirts that you're just
I have one that's like Sam I Am from fucking Dr. Seuss, and it's all about pot. My brother got it for me, which is, you know, it's cool, but I'll never fucking wear the shit out. I wear it to bed or something, but I'll never wear it out.
Now that it's New York is a legal state, would you wear it? Would you feel that?
No, because I think people smell and realize I'm a fucking moronic stoner when they meet me. I don't need to fucking broadcast that shit to the fucking 3 people a day that fucking respect me. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I don't know. I even realize I rep fucking band shit. I mean, definitely less than I did as a younger kid, even up to my fucking late 20s.
Unless it's a Sweet Kiss shirt.
I got so many. I was making
who
this.
brought it up today.
That's why I'm going to talk about it.
I didn't. Oh fuck! There's
More
a
kiss
Oh,
talk.
I gotta throw something at you, right? What am I supposed to throw at you?
It's just like a natural fucking thing.
No, my plan was to wear I have 57 Kiss t-shirts, and my point was, I just counted them the other day, because my thing was, for the next 57 shows, I planned on wearing a different Kiss t-shirt every single show here. Then I started like trying them on to make sure they fit and shit. I'm like, man, these are bad. Like, some of them are just gaudy and awful. Like, and I have a whole fucking huge bookshelf filled with my fucking music shirts, and fucking they're all folded and nice, and I barely ever grab from them.
Yeah, I think the song I'm gonna go for, "Bud Smokers Only" by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, that's a good. I haven't heard that song in a long fucking time.
Bone Thugs song.
Yeah,
Period.
but especially that one.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite weed smoking songs that's against smoking weed, though, but I still love the song totally, is Moda by The Offspring. You know that song from Ixnay?
Yeah.
That is a great fucking song, but it turns out Dexter really didn't like weed smokers. Like, there's a lot of songs about... Yeah, like even like on Americana, like Why Don't You Get a Job?
Yeah.
There's these slight little What Happened to You on Smash is about the whole thing is before you started toking, you used to have a brain.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing, his whole like the first 4 records are filled with anti-weed fucking.
Man, I'm gonna have to.
It's crazy.
Against weed and practicing singing.
I gotta say this: his voice still is extremely hard to replicate, and you got to admit. At
He
the
can't
height.
even replicate.
Yeah.
it.
No shit. But I mean, during Ixnay Smash, even up until Americana, or maybe the one after that, what was that, Conspiracy of One?
I kind of gave up on them a lot as they got
They
along.
just put out a new album 2 weeks ago. It was awful. What's
Yeah,
up?
so my buddy Derek, who I went to all those shows with when I was younger, he went and saw Offspring in '95 on the Smash tour.
Yeah, played here in Buffalo. Did
Yeah,
you
they
go?
played in Buffalo. He went to
Yeah.
that and he was like, they were terrible.
Yeah, they
Couldn't
always were.
sing.
Because they were
sucked on
probably just
instruments.
learning how to play their shit.
Oh,
before
dude, no,
their
even now,
fucking-
watch any video. When they
I've
went...
never seen a good live performance.
Me
man.
either. And when they went and did... The only good performances to watch... are
That's
from,
why
like,
they
90
started fucking playing drums to them, huh?
Was
That was his fucking influence back on the drums.
it?
It all fucking makes sense. now.
Well, their drum sound is huge. It definitely makes sense. The Offspring's drums have always had this huge production that sounded great for punk music.
I mean, the
we
little
used to cover
fucking...
a lot of Offspring in my first band.
The little
Yeah.
fucking hi-hat thing that he does and come out and play, like, that was pretty fucking badass. Like,
I
it's
just think-
iconic.
The production of those songs are so fucking good. But the Offspring, the only shows worth watching are the ones from like 94 and 95 when people are going nuts because moshing in the mainstream had just started really happening.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So watching those shows are pretty cool because of all the stage divers and the fucking surfers and shit. But yeah, the band itself is fucking awful. And even when they did, I was supposed to go see them in Pittsburgh they were playing Smash all the way through, maybe like 5-6 years ago. And Pennywise and Bad Religion was opening. I'm like, that's a fucking
shit.
sweet ass show. We didn't go, and I ended up watching the whole sets on YouTube from that show, and it was fucking terrible.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, Bad Religion would have saved it because
Or
I'm not a big
Pennywise, too.
Pennywise dude either, like you guys are. I
You're not-
like
you're not a
Pennywise.
Pennywise guy?
I'm a fan of the band, but they're one of those bands that always sort of stay. Like as far as bands from that era, I'll listen to NoFX, H2O, any band like that way before I listen to fucking Pennywise. But I liked them a lot. I liked them a lot more when I was younger. Yeah.
So you got any funny instances of being busted while smoking? Either by parents,
Yeah, I got a
teachers.
ton. So I went to see Heaven and Hell, which was Dio singing with Sabbath, like literally 2 years before Dio died, and Motorhead and Testament at the Erie County Fair. And our ride home fell through, and I had to call my dad at like fucking midnight to come pick us up in Hamburg at the Erie County Fair, and he did. And he was screaming at me the whole time home, and it was just like this big thing. And I got home, and I had half a blunt. Oh, the same show. Me and my friend Tess were this really cool chick that I lost contact with, but we were smoking a blunt during Motorhead, and two guys next to us started getting really pissed. It was like, we get drug tested on the daily, like, you guys are kids, like, you should... So I put the blunt out, and then it was weird. We actually didn't smoke. We didn't smoke after that.
Yeah, they kind of killed the vibe.
Yeah. So my dad came and picked us up and drove her home, brought me home, and for some reason I thought, and I've got caught by my dad at this point 48 times from smoking weed at least. And
Did you have to go out to the backyard and pick out your own switch?
no. I just had to make sure I didn't have anything cool hanging up in my room that I didn't want smashed. My body was all right. Just worried about my shit. But and for some reason, this is the dumbest thing I've done as far as pot with my parents, is I lit up this remaining end of the blunt in my bedroom. Like a fucking retard. Like sitting on the chair, lit up a
After
blunt.
you got busted? Or
After
no,
he drove me
you
home.
Okay.
So that whole night just sort of sucked. That whole show was awful. Fucking, we couldn't even smoke weed during it. I just started smoking weed. I really wanted to smoke during Motorhead. And then I got home, and I decided to light up a blunt, and I got kicked out of the house for 2 weeks. Oh, good
That's a
times.
bad decision.
Yeah, but here's another real quick funny story. One time, my brother I was smoking weed at this point now, and I was living back at home, and I was probably 18, and Tim was probably 16, and he would make these Gatorade bottles with pens going through the side and fucking tinfoil, really nice looking Gatorade bowls, and he'd put it in his baseball. He used to play baseball when he was a kid, and his baseball bag was always hanging up in the basement, and my dad had someone coming over to look at the furnace, or it was maybe reading the meter or something, and he came over and went down there, and right on the guy's head, his Gatorade bottle fell out of Tim's baseball bag onto the guy's fucking head and just fell on the ground. All this tin foil and fucking crumbled up ash weed is all over the fucking place. And Tim blamed me and my dad bought it. Remember that, you little fuck? We can't wait to get you on here, dude.
Oh my God. That's why I got the fucking trampoline seat.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be a 4-hour episode of fight and blood and fucking
I can't
nasty.
fucking wait.
The
That's
keepsake.
actually gonna happen.
I want Tim on bed, and even Tim was like, "Dude, I heard Reed spoke. I heard Reed speak 3 words since I started here. We've been there for 2 months now, right?" And he's like, one of the only things he said to me was like, "You should really try to come on the podcast."
He wants to see you guys fight too.
My brother's in.
Is there gonna be bars too?
The cool thing about Tim, no. But he will discuss rap all day because he's a big rap. He's an old
no
school
bars,
rap
just
kid.
left hooks.
He's an old school rap kid. You guys will get along fine. But yeah, he'll talk about all that shit, and he completely clean. He smokes and drinks, but he'll talk about all of his fucking shit, and you guys will get a kick out of some of these stories.
Completely clean. He just smokes and drinks.
Yeah.
For a Keepzak, that's completely clean, my friend. And trust me, it wasn't always that way. I got a couple more stories of getting caught, but I want to hear one from you.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you a funny one. I was gonna do a different one, but I don't think Bob's ever heard this one, and I was thinking about this.
All right,
morning.
go with that. That's
And
good.
So this is years ago. We used to go to this. What's that?
Everyone like sits up.
I don't know. And it's about your man too. This is a funny fucking story here. Your mom's and them.
Oh, Mom.
So, years ago, there used to be this weed house in Buffalo we'd go to when we needed to.
Strictly a weed house, or was it an actual?
No, it was a straight weed house. And it was sweet, 3 for $25 fucking dime bags. You get a blunt for every bag you buy. Christmas time, they give you little bottles of liquor with every purchase. However many bags you buy, you get a little mini bottle.
I like that.
Sometimes they have
City of
fucking...
good neighbors.
My dude
Yeah.
just gave me some birthday presents too.
Sometimes they have, half sticks of dynamite. Whatever. you never know. So one random... we'd run up there if we couldn't find weed, because it was hard to find once in a while back in the day. One of my sister's friends, and it was a girl, had this fucking sticker, and it was from the 80s, and it said, "Avoid rape, say yes." And it was all glittery and shit. And she had the sticker. She knew I collected stickers. She was over one day "Oh, you want the sticker?" Whatever, I have this fucking sticker. Sketchy,
You still have it?
No, I don't. So...
Yeah.
My sister had it hanging in her room, tacked on some other shit or whatever for the longest time. Just here, it's your friend's sticker. This is where everyone's hanging out. Put the fucking sticker there, whatever. So then one day, me and your mom and Ball. It's our friend. We just call him Ball.
Yeah.
So we're gonna run up to the fucking... Or no, this happens a couple days before that. Your mom's over at my house, and I'm we're getting high and shit. I think it'd be fucking funny to put the sticker on the back of his fucking car.
Oh my god. That's so bad. And this. Keep in mind,
I said,
this is before this shit was really locked down.
This is still
and you
this is still
right?
this is 98 or 99.
Exactly. It was a different time.
And the sticker's probably this big. And it's fucking it's glittery, and I think it has a girl in a cowboy hat on it too, if I do recall.
Oh yeah, your eyes probably went right to that fucking thing. No matter who you were.
So we're
That's
just hanging
crazy.
out one night, we're getting high, and I'm look at the sticker, oh. And Frank had this fucking car. It was this big ass Lincoln. We used to call it the $7 Lincoln. It'd be funny to go put this out on the back of the $7 Lincoln. So he comes over, smoking and shit, getting all high. Go out and put the fucking sticker on the back of his car. And a couple days go by, and I'm waiting for him to call me up and tell me something fucking bad happened, or be all pissed off, yo, what the fuck is this sticker? A couple days go by, I hear nothing about the fucking sticker whatsoever. It's oh man, he hasn't seen the sticker yet. So we go up one day, we're oh, let's go up to the fucking weed house and hang out, go to the weed house. We're all getting all excited, fucking we smoked a couple blunts on our way back. And Frank's driving a little fast. We're coming down Millersport, right in front of produce, right where before it changes from Erie County to Niagara County. fucking whipping through the yellow light, and this fucking state trooper just fucking comes out of nowhere. Boom! Fucking gets us. He comes up to the window, and, like, we just got done smoking. I think we're hiding the weed and shit.
And you weren't there.
No. He doesn't even know this.
Okay.
He doesn't know nothing about it.
That's what's great about
So,
this.
the cop comes up, and he's just fucking, just a dick. Like, to Frank. Just fucking, like, where's your license? Where's your registration? What are you doing? Blah, blah, like, being, like, just a complete fucking asshole. Where's the fucking weed? Blah, blah, blah. You writing him tickets and shit. Gets all of us out of the fucking car. And fucking Frank is standing in the front of his car. Me and Matt are on the side, like on the other side of the car, and we're on the side of the road, kind of to the back, and like we're looking, and we can see like the cop car lights are fucking reflecting off the sticker. That's a glitter sticker. So we're kind of like giggling, and the cop is being a total. He isn't saying shit to us, but he's being a total fucking asshole. And then we kind of like notice the sticker, like, oh shit. And finally, the cop's like, "What the fuck is the deal with this fucking sticker on your car?" And he's standing in front of the car. He has no idea the sticker's fucking there. And we just fucking lose it, laugh. And he's like, "What are you?" He's like, and he's like, trying, like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Avoid rape, say yes."
You got a cop to say that? That's the best part of this story.
So he had no idea. He's like, "What are you talking about?" We're fucking down the
You
side
got
of
a cop to say avoid rape, say yes.
He
That's
said he like
fucked.
fucking said it loud too. He was like getting angry the way he said it, and the look on Frank's face, like jaw drops, like what, like has no fucking clue, and then fucking walks over and fucking sees the fucking sticker and is just mortified and pissed. We're fucking laughing. Me and Ball are fucking laughing. The cop is like, what? Like, he's still pissed. Like, what the fuck?
Now it's probably coming clear to the cop though, like these
No,
fucking
so
assholes.
I told the cop, like, listen, I got this, like, my sister's friend had the sticker, I put it on his fucking car as a fucking joke, and he had no idea. And then fucking, like, I explained it to him while we were standing on the side of the road.
So bad, James. That's
and-
bad.
Like, the cop kind of was like, he wasn't as pissed anymore, and he was just like, you gotta get that shit. Like, Frank's already peeling the fucking sticker off. Like, we're still fucking laughing. The cop never even thought of like searching us for weed or anything, because we still had some dime baggies left. Yeah, he was super pissed about the fucking
He
sticker.
was probably so thrown from that sticker.
Yeah, you.
Another time, me, Ball. Sorry, we have to edit that name out. Me, Ball, and Frank were going up to Chippewa. We just hit the weed house. And we're in the same car without the sticker on it this time, but we're on the corner of Elmwood and Chippewa. Used to be a gas station there.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in this car, and we're going to go hang and shit, but we're going to smoke this, like, double-chambered bong that he had. But we had no water to put in it. So we ended up fucking putting some pop in this fucking bong, and we're sitting there, and we're like parked, and the fucking window's down just a little bit, and smoking this fucking pop bong. Is that my fucking phone?
No, it's my.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Fuck.
My grandma.
I knew you were laughing. My grandma. Hi,
Your grandma's
Graham.
calling you at 420.
You always fucking call her in the show, Graham.
Not 420 yet.
It is
but
420.
this
like
fucking kid.
fun day.
So
Okay.
we're sitting in this car, smoking this fucking bong of pop.
Oh, it's 422, Bob.
And all of a sudden, these headlights pop up, coming from the opposite direction, roll up next to us. It's a cop in the cop car. And he rolls the fucking window down, and all you see is all the fucking smoke going right to this fucking cop's car where he's got his window down right in his fucking face. So he's like, alright, fucking stop. And cops are assholes on Chippewa.
Yeah.
Anybody from the 716 would probably know. So
Especially before they policed it, like with
Yeah.
having only certain ages there at night and shit.
So the cop pulls up, gets out of his car, like 3 more fucking cop cars roll up, and they're like,
It might be important.
It's not important.
she wanted us to sing Happy Birthday to Chris.
Yeah. She didn't call me yesterday. She probably forgot. She's freaking out.
Look at you, avoiding talking to your grandma
I
because
know.
you gotta get high, Chris.
Yeah.
No, it's
You
because I
get
gotta
high.
be
Is
here.
that more important?
Yeah, get...
Coughing,
more-
you can't answer the phone.
Sorry, Graham, I'm coughing out a weed hit. So, like, 3-4 cops show up, and They get us out of the car. They're ripping this fucking car up. They find a fucking couple bags of weed. And, like, the cop's, like, looking at our IDs, sees we're from the country. He's like, you country kids don't belong here. Like, go back to the country, blah, blah, blah. Taking the weed bags, they're dumping them out on the ground. And I'm, like, down there picking the weed up while they're fucking standing there. But at one point, the first cop, like, that the smoke went into his face, he's... At some point, somebody shoved the bong under the fucking front seat. So the cop fucking grabs the bong out and he's like, what's this, a penis enlarger?
That's sort of funny.
So then he's like, I shouldn't be doing this, this is littering. And he fucking starts breaking the bong into pieces and throws it up on top of this fucking gas station roof. Meanwhile, like, it's got Pop in it, so Pop, there's a fucking brand new car we're parked next to. Pop gets all over this fucking car, windshield, everything. So then the cop's like, alright, get back to the fucking country, and they fucking take off. Like I said, I was picking the weed up right in front of him that he dumped out. Like, they were just like, get the fuck out of here. So we're just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, right after the cops leave, these two dudes are in the fucking bushes hiding, and they fucking pop out. And they're like, they saw cops, they were fucking drunk. So as soon as the cops left, they're like, they duck into the bushes or whatever. They come out, and their car is the one next to us. It's got the fucking pop all over it. And we're just like, they're like, yo, what the fuck is this? And we had to tell them, like, and they were all drunk and shit. We're like, oh yeah, it was the fucking cop when he fucking poured the bong up on the thing. Because they were all pissed about it. Well, that was kind of a funny one. And then we ended up going right back to the weed house to get more weed anyways.
So was this was like, was it all commercial and shit that you were smoking at the time?
There was a couple of times they popped some fucking good tree.
When did it change over? Like, when do you guys remember
it was
when all of a sudden weed
about
became
2001, 2002 was when it started.
Cause,
Sour Diesel.
Yeah.
See, because you guys were probably, like, in a different, like, world as far as prices and shit were concerned. When I was fucking buying at 17 and 18, 19 years old, they were easily getting me for $60 eighths all the time.
No.
Yeah, on real. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, on the good.
And that was like, that's a college price too. Like,
yeah,
you
like
go
$50 for
50
an eighth
was
like the going. You could get 60 at SUNY.
Because swag in the suburbs was still pretty relevant at the time, because people were going with the quantity over quality, and anybody over the age of 30 wasn't sold on the idea of better quality weed yet, because
there was definitely a lot of that, you know. And you know what? Shout out to all the fucking plugs out there making it happen all these years for us. I know a few of you even watch the show, so keep doing what you do.
Now, question, because I've been buying off I've bought weed off probably literally 70 different people in my life, like throughout my life. But the one guy I've always been buying from has been like a 15-year relationship now, like through buying from him. Do you feel these guys are going to benefit or not benefit from legalization?
They'll definitely benefit.
I think they would benefit, right? Because people are still... I'll tell you, I'm still going to buy my flower underground.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
My edibles, my cartridges, tinctures, that's different for me, because you know what you're getting, how much it is. It's going to be much easier to be able to fucking dose yourself how you want to be dosed. Do you get what I'm saying? So that I'm stoked about dispensaries for. But I mean,
there's going to be a wider range of underground shit than you're going to see on the market anyways, unless somebody opens up like a boutique shop or something.
What's going to happen is you're going to start seeing like super powerful extracts, because that's going to be where the market is, because that'll be something you can't buy.
Yeah.
People's tolerances are going to start getting higher and higher and higher. So you're going to start seeing like pharmaceutical grade extracts, I think, and that you won't be able to buy recreational. That'll be like the...
When you say extracts, do you like is
wax?
That like oil and wax, right?
Yeah, okay. But just like heavily more and more concentrated.
Yeah, like they're going to keep upping the milligrammage or however that breaks down to, and smokage. For lack of a better word.
I don't know.
And you know who else needs a fucking shout out in this episode since the 420 is Stop and Gas Station. It's not the same as it was when we were around, but
maybe it is. We're just older now.
I don't know. I went and got gas there. It's owned by completely different like people. So right around the corner from Bill's house where we've spent, the last 25 years hanging out. It was like our ground zero. It was a gas station. And I'm not even sure how we found it. It was probably the one dude that's already been canceled on our show. We won't talk too much about him, but he used to hang out. So he probably brought this to our attention. But when we were like 15, 16 years old, and this gas station literally a mile around the corner, the guy running the place, like, not only was he selling bud, we started going in there to buy bud off him. He started allowing us to buy underage alcohol. As much as we wanted, whenever we wanted. And not only that, he
How
was
old
the
were you guys? 19?
15,
20?
16.
Holy
16,
shit.
17, yeah.
So not only
But
that,
we were like, I don't know, you hang out with us,
Yeah,
legit.
exactly.
We're buying
Yeah.
a ton of weed.
yeah. So
We were always
but-
partying, we were always holding together.
not only was
More or
he
less.
selling this,
I'm
Not
thinking
only
some
was
more
he-
of less, maybe.
not only was he selling us all this weed, but he was the manager, and there was like 4 employees total that worked there. His wife being one of them, 2 other girls. He told all his employees, like, these guys show up for booze, they get to buy booze.
Holy shit, he's incriminating himself.
This is 20 some years ago, so
Yeah.
Longer, yeah.
so we can talk about it. So that place became like ground zero, and to the point where they never got Philly blunts in there until we're like, yo, why don't you start getting some blunts? So then they had the box of blunts, 25 cents a piece.
They
We
never
always-
had 40s in there, so
Yep.
we're like, yo, we started bringing 40s.
Wow,
in
you
there.
guys are basically working at this store
point
without
where,
actually, you were
like-
telling them what to do. You were
They
managing
literally
this
stocked
store.
Yeah.
it for us because we
And,
were
like-
spending so much money.
Because we'd have huge parties and everybody would go there. Like cigarettes were like $2 a pack, buy one get one free Camels.
So it was great for us.
To the point where I could go
Uh,
there and show up and like not have money for cigs, and they would just give me one of the free
They
packs
used to
out
do
of the
buy
fucking...
one, get one packs on cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
I see.
You used to
I
get,
know
like,
it.
cool
cartons
merch and shit.
with a free pack or two, and then
Yeah.
they would open up the cartons and have the extra free pack or two.
Yeah, and they just give us fucking cigs, let us buy fucking alcohol. If we didn't have any bud or any money, we could just show up and they'd fucking smoke weed with us. Like, it was a
I used to
solid...
go on there my breaks at McDonald's when I was managing and go over there and smoke weed at my break and go back to work because it's right around the corner.
That's amazing. See, I mean,
So,
I've had
like-
a couple places like that, but
This legitimately, like, definitely fueled us for a couple years there.
Dude, we
Then
could
it-
go there after hours
Yeah.
and open it up and get beer and leave cash. It's fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I forgot all about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we could.
Dude, remember, I just remember, what's his name, coming to, a Christmas party at your house with 2 cases of fucking 40s
Yeah.
and those cyanide special brew
Two-
deuces.
I don't
Yeah,
think I've
we-
ever seen a case of a
No,
40 in my
and they-
life.
We would literally have, like, booze in just boxes of fucking booze.
There was 8 of us
Yeah.
there.
You guys lived like the super bad lifestyle. Like the movie.
So,
Oh.
yeah, that place was so fucking good to us. And then, like, I know Bill worked there for a little bit. Is that why we were able to get in there after hours? Or was that before?
No, I think other dude.
Oh,
was
yeah.
in.
Because,
We just had to talk to the manager guy.
and, like, there would be a couple different people in and out of there, but any new employee always knew, like, because we've been going there for a couple years at this point. Like, I worked there for a short time, and I ended up quitting so me and Bill could go to a fucking festival where we ate fucking probably like 60 doses of fucking acid and left the next day because we fucking tripped out so fucking bad. Which was it was crazy, like...
I will say, remember when they started having marital problems and then she was giving us a hard time?
Yeah.
And I had a fake ID that says I was from Detroit. And so I showed her that even though she was from the corner. She's like, fine.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, because his wife that worked there, like, he was having an affair, she was
Yeah.
having an affair, like, they had all these issues, like, his girlfriend would be there, and then her boyfriend would be there, like... It was fucked up, but we're there, like, getting all this shit that they're fucking giving us, and yeah, she did start giving us a fucking hard time a little bit, because she knew, like, we were coming to buy weed off of him, mostly.
Holy fuck.
And this dude was, like, a Christian and in a fucking Christian
Well,
metal band.
Afterwards.
Well, after
he cleaned up.
He was a
got
born-again
mad.
Christian?
I think that's what happened. I don't know.
So, shout out to fucking Stop and Gas for taking care of, the teenage us's.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Stop and Gas, for breaking the law.
A bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, man, that's the shit movies are made out of, like, having a place like that. And if they actually have it, is pretty fucking solid. I mean, we did have John and Ron, who were old enough to buy us booze and did. But if they weren't around...
Duke.
Duke.
You guys are really drinking at fucking 15 and 16 though.
Oh yeah,
I was more like 17, 18. He's a year
Oh,
younger,
okay,
so.
yeah.
I started drinking at an early age though, because like my parents started when I was super young.
Did you guys start drinking together though, or were
No.
you already drinking?
No.
No, I was more drinking. We started smoking pot together and shit, but I wasn't. I don't know.
So how old were you when you first started actually getting drunk? Like whether it was one day a year or not. Like what? How old were you when you were
first time I had a drink, I was 4. I drank a fucking full beer at one of my parents' fucking get-togethers.
Were your parents hippies?
No, they're just druggies.
Okay.
They were from the 70s, so whatever you call 70s people.
What if it's not crossing the line? What was the worst it got up to with substances?
With them?
Yes.
I mean, I knew they were like heavy into coke and shit. And
right.
I never witnessed the coke years, but
do you remember
looking back on it, I can be like, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense now.
And how long did they shelter you from weed and shit?
Never sheltered.
Never as a
They
kid.
were always open about drug
5
use.
years old, 10 years old.
I had my first beer when I was 4, where I grabbed from one of them.
Sit down, kid, and have a beer. I'm going to tell you about
No, I
pot.
No, it's actually. It's the funny thing is, like, one of my earliest memories that I have that I can remember, and I was probably like 2, and it checks out knowing when I lived in this apartment how old I was. We moved out when I was 2, but I remember seeing a Tupperware container of fucking marijuana and my dad rolling a joint out of it. Like I said, my uncles were always smoking it. I'd go to my other uncle's house. I'd spend like weekends over there because I could just do whatever the fuck I wanted and play video games. And he's always fucking smoking.
So how old were you when you first smoked weed? Then you might have
like
said
15.
15. Okay, so you
no, I grew up around it. I just didn't have. But they were smoking so much of that shit around me. I was probably having contact buzzes the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
Like I'd said, literally, we'd be in the car, me and my brother and sister. It was before my other siblings. They have the windows rolled up and they're fucking smoking hash, like clam baking the fucking thing with 3 little kids in the back. So
yeah, that's why
pot's never been too far away from my fucking thing. As far as the booze, I'd be a little kid. I'd be going with my grandma, and she'd be hanging out at the bars, and I'd be getting fucking bottles of scotch or glasses of scotch and shit. And then when I used to start going over to her house and spending weekends and like even summer vacations, like I would just fucking booze all the fucking time, like 8 or 9 years old.
Jesus.
And when I was like a teenager, my neighbor, they were Indian, and they used to have these, and the kid, he was a year older than me. Every summer, like, all the people in their community would get together and throw these fucking parties, and every weekend it'd be a different house. But they'd all come and party, and they would be fucking jumping, like, all this food, all this fucking top shelf liquor. So, like, I'd go over to his house when they're having these parties, and, like, they're not really drinking, but they're bringing, like, Grey Goose and all the expensive shit. So, literally, in his fucking basement, his parents had an entire fucking closet with 3 shelves full of fucking booze. And I'd sleep over on fucking Friday nights, and we'd just, like, rent some video games from fucking Blockbuster or Video Factory.
And that
Is
was
that what that
what?
place called?
Video
Factory?
Factory. Yeah.
Blockbuster
ended up buying
I've been trying to figure.
I've been in the city.
I've been randomly trying to remember the name of that fucking place for a month and a half, and I just came to me.
tapes with the fucking sticker on it from Video Factory because there was one right by a Blockbuster in Buffalo, and then Blockbuster ended up buying out all the Video Factories. Sorry, that was a tangent,
And like
but
my neighbor kid, like he was, only child, so he was pretty spoiled and shit. So he'd always have like the best video games, whatever. And like I'd go over and hang out Friday nights. We'd get some pizza, get some fucking video games, and then just fucking, as soon as his parents like went to sleep, we would just be raiding the fucking liquor bottles. So like I did a lot of drinking I used to go to my dad's house on the weekend, and him and his wife never drank, but they had these 3 bottles of fucking vodka up in their fucking cupboard, where like all my art supplies I had stashed were.
yeah.
So I'd be like 11 years old, fucking, they'd go to sleep, I'd pour out like a 20-ounce bottle and fucking just fill it full of vodka, throw the headphones on, and just go wander around all night long. So I was drinking like a lot, and that's probably
Yeah,
why.
that's not good.
No.
But like between the ages of like 8 and like 13 or 14. And it's funny, when they moved out of that house years later, they're like, do you want these bottles? I'm like, they've been fucking full of water since fucking 92.
What's interesting, I used to do that, me and Tim used to do that too, refill the liquor bottles with water. But what's interesting about this is when a lot of people who start getting fucked up that young somehow snap the fuck out of addiction.
Yeah.
And that...
I know you've had your battles and struggles, which if you ever want to talk about it,
I mean,
know,
we've pretty
this
much
platform,
talked about
I'm
it
sure
all.
I'll be talked about it on. But, like, as far as you, like, being able to say no to drink certain drugs, even when everybody's doing it and shit, it's very fun. Even weed. I've even seen you, I see it every week you pass
I
up
do
weed
it
on the
now
way
more
over
so
here.
than I...
So... it's very interesting. Like, Jim Norton went to a rehab at like 15 or 16 years old. He still talks about his sobriety because he hasn't touched anything since that point. It's interesting, people who start drinking that early seem to bail out of that headspace. Even though you've never dropped your friends, you've never worked a program, correct?
No. I've never been that bad. I mean, shit.
No.
I know, snobby fuck.
Like, for me, like, I got done with all, like... We got to a point where we're hanging out at Stop and Gas and shit, right? We used to go to the movies on Tuesday nights because the matinee at the mall was like $2. You could go fucking see a movie. We'd hit Stop and Gas, get some alcohol, get some fucking weed, go to these fucking movies. So there was a Tuesday where we'd end up not going to fucking Stop and Gas and getting weed and shit. I don't know what happened. So we don't have like booze for the movies. We end up getting like a bottle of Devil's Springs. And then like we're sitting at Bill's house, and I remember like we were still in high school too, because I remember Tom telling his parents he was over working on a school project. I think it was our senior year. And like we're doing little capfuls of Devil's Springs and just getting fucking wrecked. We're like, oh shit, like Devil's Springs is the fucking best thing ever now. Like you get fucking wasted off like literally a cap full of fucking booze. So we go to the movies the next Tuesday. We got 2 bottles of fucking Devil Springs and a couple 2-liters. But the shit's so fucking strong. Like, we run out of our mixer, our chasers. Like, before the first bottle's even fucking gone.
They still make Devil Springs? I don't
Do you know what Devil Springs is?
No.
It's like 180
extremely
proof vodka.
Yeah.
Like, 90%.
That's one of the first things I got really fucking wasted on, too.
So...
That was like the big thing in like the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Because you were probably...
The witches, and they had some of that shit.
Oh, yeah. It was...
That's fucked up shit, man, and it tastes... It's like moonshine type fucking awfulness, man. It's hard to chug down with a chaser or not.
We're so fucked, like, we can't even go to the movies, because we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna start fucking drinking more Devil's Springs. And all I remember is, like, we drank some Devil's Springs. Remember, Bill had a fucking waterbed. I was passed out upside down like this for the longest time. Listening to Take Me Away by Ween on fucking repeat.
Oh my god, dude. I don't know if I can do it on repeat.
It was stuck on repeat. It wasn't purposely on repeat.
Were you like, what was it, the CD, the Chalk and Cheese on CD?
Yeah, the first song stuck on fucking repeat for hours. I'm looking at, like, his Bill's room used to have fucking all kinds of, like, your typical fucking stoner room with blacklight posters, and we had the shit decked out because that's where we were partying all the time. I think he was fucking drunk out on the fucking pool table. I think Canceled Person was there because he was supposed to drive. He was fucking face down somewhere. And it was just a fucking mess. I remember waking up the next morning and fucking dry heaving for like an hour and a fucking half.
I don't miss those days, man.
And it was like, I felt so fucked. I ended up like, instead of getting a ride home from that person, I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking walk home. And I live 9.5 miles away.
Oh my god, dude.
So I just fucking, I was so fucked, I had to walk it out. And ever since that day, like, other than a few times, like, a couple years later, when we were getting, like, when you were living in, or jamming with them kids in Lockport, and we were drinking, like, I relapsed a little bit for that period of time, because we were drinking a lot of 40s that we were also getting from fucking Stop and Gas.
Yeah.
But that was really the only, like, drinking relapse I had, is, like, when we had that little period of 40s.
Yeah.
So that was the cause of your relapse?
Probably.
You know, waking up that hungover, though, the best thing is like a bong load in the morning.
Well, we
Feels
probably...
so much better.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we probably had no weed. And, like, it was... I do remember, like... Bill's mom used to make these tacos. They were the fucking best thing after a night of fucking partying, and every Friday night they'd be up, like, we'd be up at the fridge at like 4 a.m. just eating these tacos. And somehow there was tacos, and it wasn't taco night, and those fucking definitely helped. But ever since that Devil Springs night, I've been done with alcohol.
That's normally how it goes. I think it's because when you're younger like that, you can have a really shitty experience like that and not be able to recover so easily as you would at like 15 or 16. And I think that probably helped you.
I mean, we'll go there real quick. So, like opiates, like I was maybe back in the 90s was kind of into some opiates and pills and shit. And then we talked off camera a little bit about the opium connection we had for a while. That was pretty close to us, so we had like unlimited amounts of opium for a long fucking time.
I've never actually done real opium.
Yeah.
It's never been
You're
around.
lucky.
I know.
You lose fucking time, that's for sure.
So
yeah, I'm sure.
The last time I've ever had any sort of opiate, whether it's a pill, opium, or anything of that nature, was February of 2002. Now remember, I was working.
Fuck, that's a long time.
Working at the restaurant you work at.
Yeah.
It was February. Got out one day, and it was like 70 degrees or 60 degrees in February. Just this random fucking nice day. So a friend of ours, Bill, I'll say, was living not too I know, I was trying to figure out how do I not say it, but...
A friend of ours, a.k.a. Bill.
You can bleep it or something. So
Bill will say, like...
He had just... Like, Gwen was just born, and he's living up in the fucking projects.
Pop like that one.
He's living up in the projects. And it's a nice day, so we're gonna call him up. I'm leaving at work, like, yo, I want to hang out. And one of us, it was either him or me, we had this fucking bottle of hydros and like a bunch of this opium. So like, you know what, fuck it, like, we're just gonna fucking, it's a nice day, like, let's get a fucking, take a bunch of hydros, smoke a fucking bunch of opium, like, you know, we'll be fucking wrecked. And we were. And then the next day I felt like shit. And the next day feeling like shit turned into fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm never fucking touching a fucking opiate again.
Opiate withdrawal was the hardest thing I've ever had to get over in my life, I think.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes, it's so fucking long. And Tim struggled with it more because he started doing Suboxone to make up for doing the pills, which on a street value, it's not like on a street level, rather. It's not like he went to a doctor.
See, like Suboxone or Oxys and all that shit, like, that wasn't even around by the time I was done.
I think an opiate's an opiate, but you're right, though. I mean,
like,
if you're pumping 80 milligrams of Opana in your system
I was never around to try, like, I was so done before any of that shit hit the scene.
What was great about those high-powered opiates were, for an addict, was, well, first of all, they were extremely expensive. They're usually $1 a milligram. So an 80 milligram pill, which is the size of a quarter of the size of a penny, some of these pills, like a half the size of a penny, literally is so fucking powerful. It would cost you $80 for one pill. But your tolerance goes up so fast. And sometimes you're like, this pill's so small, and you do the whole thing. And that's where a lot of these fucking Opana and Oxycontin deaths are coming from early on.
Mm.
And I mean, people will go to any lengths to fucking ingest it, smoke it, without having to eat the pill.
Should we talk more about weed on our...
I know, that's what I was...
I guess
we
so.
got, I don't know, we just went there, you said something about me being addicted and wanting to talk about it, like...
Alright, well,
it's been 20 years, so... That's why...
15 minutes or so.
Alright.
That's why, you know, it's strictly weed for me.
Let me tell a story about when the only concert... I smoked weed at 100 shows in my life. The only concert I ever got kicked out of was a rap show for smoking weed at Town Ballroom. And, well, I was problematic. I was on a relapse and I ate a bunch of Xanax.
Was this during your high C days?
No, this is way after. No, I was long into One Way Terror.
Okay.
And I took a decent amount of Xanax, which is my fucking... Definitely should not. That's something I'll never touch again, is Xanax specifically. It's very awful. But I remember I was in the arena, I'm smoking weed, or in the ballroom smoking weed, and the security guy comes over and goes, "Hey, if I fucking see it again, I'm kicking you out." So I let 20 minutes go by and I light up a fucking cigarette. I don't know why. I was just that fucking out of it. I remember very little.
And this is like back when people stopped smoking in there. Like there used to be a time when you could sneak smoke. But
This was
then
probably like 7 years ago.
Yeah, so it was well past that time.
And Chris Webby played, and I seen Webby's whole set, and then literally the house lights go down as I have a cigarette in my hand and I light a bowl, and I'm like, all right, now's the time because Tech's about to come on. And next thing I know, the guy just grabs me, turns me around. I'm like, dude, I'll give you my shit, just whatever. Like, I'm sorry, dude. And he drags me and literally pushes the door open with my fucking Xanaxed out body. Like, because I'm smoking weed inside this fucking place. You know
Did
what
anybody
I mean?
else smoke up at that point?
No, but it's funny because the next year, Tech played at Ballroom on 420. Literally on 420. And the whole place was smoking weed. Yeah. Security guards were smiling ear to ear. Everyone was fucking.
You know, town ballrooms is kind of hit or miss with the smoking in there because I remember being at a Badfish show there and they were fucking kicking everybody out. Yeah. But then there was another show right after that, I can't remember what it was, where they were smoking and nobody fucking cared. And it wasn't like a real smoking kind of show.
I think it depends if, like, you got to know your shows. Like, Guar was always one I knew I can get stoned at forever because the lights are always fucking red and black. The ICP, I knew there was going to be so many people on meth and just fucked up that weed was not going to be anyone's fucking problem. Like, no one was, there was going to, because all those shows had fucking, 1,000 people at. So those are always easy. Rap shows normally were easy.
I'll tell you a quick little funny story about an ICP show, because we're not going to go into a whole ICP episode, so I can break them up.
Eventually, maybe.
No.
I'll talk Bob into
so,
it.
And I think it was the second time I seen my show Place Theater was me, Tom, and Duke. We're going to see them, and Funk Junkies are opening.
Yeah.
It's kind of into Funk Junkies a little bit. So, Duke, he's a big alcoholic, and he ended up going out and working for the Clowns, like doing some kind of security, either for them or one of their offshoot bands. But, like, he was fucking down with the Clowns. So we end up going to the show. Duke buys a couple little bottles of liquor, and they also got, like, an 18-pack, and they're just getting fucking wrecked. And I'm just fucking smoking blunts. We go up into the fucking show. And, like, they snuck the bottles in. They had to fucking put the beers back out of the car. And we got all these fucking blunts lit up. And see the dude from the Funk Junkies. He comes over and smokes a fucking blunt with us. Like, we're gonna fucking meet up after the show and smoke another one, like, on the tour bus. Like, we were hanging and shit. But Tom's getting a little drunk. Getting a little fucking belligerent. At one point, like I said, we're smoking mad blunts. This girl comes up and wants to fucking smoke a blunt. And she's a cute little girl, so, like, not little, but a cute girl. Want to make it not some weird shit going on. Right. So, like, we're going to smoke this blunt, whatever, but Tom's acting all fucking crazy. And just, like, being an asshole, kind of, because he's got all this fucking liquor in him. To the point where the girl ends up fucking leaving. So then I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, you got to get your shit together. But he's acting all fucking shitty and ignorant. So Funk Junkies start playing, and they, like, see this pit, and, like, Tom wants to fucking go in this pit. He's got a little alcohol, and I'm like, alright, dude, go to the fucking pit. So you see his short little ass fucking walk into the pit, you see him disappear, and he's gone. Like, alright, something fucking, whatever, smoke this fucking blunt, maybe that girl will come back. Well, no, she doesn't come back, but Tom comes back, like, 20 minutes later, fucking no glasses, fucking looking all roughed up and shit. Basically, the people seen what kind of asshole he was being, so they were fucking giving it to him in the pit. It's like, dude, here, hit this fucking blunt, whatever. Get your shit together. And then fucking, after Funk Junkies was Sendog from Cypress Hill had a band, like a little side project for a short period of time, so he was there. And his band was playing. So Tom goes back off to the fucking pit. Disappears for a while. Finally, like, fuck this dude. Like, whatever. Like, this dude's fucked up. We ended up getting into a fight later, anyways, but. So we're watching a show, smoking some blunts, having a good time. Like, finally the fucking clowns come on. Tom's nowhere to be fucking found. Fuck him. Like, you fucked up. They get like maybe 20 minutes into their fucking set, and it was Shaggy's birthday too. They brought a cake out and fucking bashed him in the face with his cake.
What tour was this?
I can't even remember. It was late 90s.
Okay.
It was before. Yeah, it was before. It was like 98, I think, 98 or 99. So their fucking set gets cut short because the power fucking goes out.
Well, yeah,
and they
show place, right?
Yeah,
it's normal.
So they can't fucking continue playing. So kind of pissed, but I'm trying to fucking find the dude from the Funk Junkies because we're supposed to fucking smoke a blunt. Like, they had some weed too, so we are gonna match on a blunt on the bus. I'm like, oh sweet. But then we're like waiting outside, looking for Tom. He's nowhere to be. Me and Duke, like, where the fuck is this dude? So I'm like kind of worried. Like, man, he was all fucked up. Like, he was getting kind of fucking thrashed up in the pit a little bit. Like, what happened? So I ended like somehow I go back to my car and then parked around the corner, like down the block a little bit.
Right.
And as I'm walking up to it, I see dude. He's laying in between the curb and my tires, just huddled up like this. And like half asleep, like half. I don't know if he was crying or not trying to cry. I don't know, but I just remember it was like fall. It was like October or something. So leaves were on the fucking ground. He's covered in fucking leaves. Like an empty Cheetos bag was stuck to him. He was all fucked up. Come to find out, like after he got romped around a little bit in the pit, like they threw him out because he was just so drunk and obnoxious.
Right.
But then he kept trying to get back in. And they fucking kept throwing him out. And then finally, like, ICP's dudes were loading some shit into the front, and they saw the fucking Tom giving show place security a fucking hard time. So they went over and beat the shit out of him. And then he went and just, like, he didn't know where to go. He saw my car, and he just laid down in the fucking street on the curb. So anyway, then, Tom, you watch this. This is what happened. You fucked up. Like, we could have maybe hung out with the clowns. I don't fucking know. We didn't even get to meet this. I'm like, alright, I gotta get this fucking dude back home. He's all fucked up. Which, being fucked up back then was not out of his fucking wheelhouse at all. So we're driving home. And he's like, asking me what happened. I was like, yeah, dude, you're kind of being a dick. And I'm like, and I was kind of pissed at him for scaring this fucking chick off by being a dickhead to her when we were about to smoke this fucking blunt. And something ended up happening where he was talking some shit, I started talking some shit. We're driving down the fucking 290, the same one we drive down when I'm getting you. We fucking pull over on the fucking side of the road and like, do you want to fucking fight? Like, let's go out and fucking fight. So me and him are out in the back, and then Duke, who's the big fucking dude.
You guys all loved fighting, man. You didn't give a fuck when or where, as long as someone was fighting.
He gets out of the car and like
fuck
fucking
is this ego shit.
Like we're talking this.
It's just fun. You watch wrestling. Like, is it better to watch wrestling or actually wrestle?
For my fat ass, watching it is perfectly fine.
See, like, I had never been to a spot with any of my friends where I'm like, we need to fucking physically fight. Like, let's fucking go. I might have said it a couple times during some Buzzhound practices.
Oh, you most certainly said it.
But I knew you guys would just fucking laugh and fucking just talk some more shit. Or no, I think I did challenge Charlie to a legitimate fight. Like, I would have fought him one day, I think. I'm not going to do it now, but there was something was going on. I'm like, I'll fight you. Like, let's go. Somebody.
He will crush you.
I know he would cry. I'm not even saying, like, I had a chance, but for some reason I wanted to fight him, I think.
I think you still do.
No.
So there's something there.
No, definitely don't. I just remember I was pissed about something. But me and Tom were legit. I was ready to fight him, and we were out on the fucking back of my car on the fucking 290, and then fucking Big Duke comes out, and he's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Get in the fucking car!" And like, we just end up getting in the car and fucking going home. But
your guys' story is always like, well, our one buddy got so fucked up that he tried to fucking take out 14 people. He got beat up, and then he ended up being between my tire and the curb. Like, yeah. What the fuck,
no,
man?
he got beat up by, like, ICP's real security kicked the shit out of him.
I love that.
I do, too. Because he fucking deserved it. I wasn't even mad couldn't smoke the blunt with the Funk Junkies, dude.
All right. Well,
So yeah,
they're gonna wrap up. What are we talking about next week?
what do you want to talk about next week? I don't know why we
Well,
even get
figure
into
it out.
why we talk about next week on this week.
What?
I said why we talk about next week on this week.
Well, it's the end of this week.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, when do we ever do this?
All right.
We usually don't.
Like, subscribe, and share. Kitchen's closed.
Are we out here in the country, about to do some real country shit, and light a bowl with the sun. While this car goes by.
So see how hot thing is getting.
Did it get hot?
No. Is it burning you?